Or we could, again, get Chris Pratt. We get like a really old Link. He's just like this
Chris Pratt
disgruntled.
is
No, Chris Pratt's going to be the Deku tree.
oh my goodness.
Or he could be one of the fairies.
Bro,
Listen. Welcome back to Bono's Gaming. This is the Bono's Gamers Podcast, episode 6, and I'm joined again tonight by Yugi601 and Falcon Tactics. How you guys doing?
Hey, doing pretty good.
Nice.
What's up?
And tonight, for the first time, we have Zach from Nerd Cave Network. How's it going, Zach?
Well, awesome. Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here. Well, we got a pretty good lineup, I think, of things tonight to go over. We're going to be talking about the Mario Spider-Man sales. We're going to be talking about the Zelda movie that was just announced. We're going to be talking about Thanksgiving and how Spider-Man 2 is an allegory for life as a human being. Also, we're going to be talking about the Game of the Year awards, and we got some things to look about and discuss there. So it's an action-packed episode tonight, and I'm glad to have you guys on for this discussion. We're going to start with we're going to start by pulling up my notes. We're going to start with the Mario Spider-Man sales. Those games came out on the same day, which is insane. And it was Sony came out and said, hey, Spider-Man, by the end of October, so 11 days, I guess, sold 5 million copies. That's pretty good. Mario also announced their sales in the first 2 weeks, I think. They said they sold, oh man, now I've forgotten, 3.3 million, something like that. I don't know if somebody can look that up, but I was surprised to see, I was actually a little bit surprised to see that Spider-Man beat Mario by that much at first. Do you guys have any thoughts about that? Or which one do you think will sell more through Christmas?
To clarify, by the way, as of this article from Gematsu 8 days ago, 4.3 million is the count.
Oh,
Yep.
it's 4.3. Okay.
I looked it up too. I got the same answer.
Okay. So they're 700,000 short of Spider-Man 2. Pretty comparable numbers though for the first couple of weeks of those games selling. So in the race for the holiday season, which one do you think will end up selling more? You go ahead. I have thoughts, but you guys go ahead and tell me yours first.
I think since Sony is bundling Spider-Man for free, quote unquote, with the PS5, and it's out in the wild way more than it was during COVID and everything, I think everybody that has one is going to be getting one for this holiday season. So I think Spider-Man has a way better chance because of that bundle than Mario does. Because unfortunately, Nintendo, with their weird decisions, they're still bundling Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with the Switch. If they would have put Wonder with it, man, it would have been, people would have been excited to get a new Switch, but everybody's like, oh, we got another Mario Kart bundle.
Dude.
So I think Spider-Man's going to blow it out of the water.
They could have done a Mario Red and Blue Joy-Con special edition with Mario Wonder in the box, and they would have sold like hotcakes.
Dude, yeah, they could have just remade the old red and blue Joy-Cons that they had originally, like, and put those in the box, and that would have sold either way.
No.
So y'all are in agreement it'll be Spider-Man 2?
I think so,
I agree.
it's true what he says. Like, it feels like Sony, every time they drop an exclusive, there's a bundle PS5 with it, even when it's like totally unnecessary. But it like incentivizes people who may look at it to like buy it. So he's not wrong about this. Let's see what the bundle. I mean, I almost got it. Yeah. I was about this close from getting the bundle, but I just wanted the PS5 first because I wanted to make sure it actually worked. On the technicalities for streams and stuff. But I tell you what, like, he has a great point, and I can't argue it.
Yeah. I'm like, as someone who doesn't even have a PlayStation and hasn't played the game, but I've watched you pretty much the whole thing. Like, I can already say I'm confident that Spider-Man sales are gonna beat it out. Even if they weren't selling a bundle, I feel like Spider-Man would still sell it out because, in my opinion, the game's looks draw me in a little bit more than Wonder.
Ooh.
But that's just me. That's just me. But,
right.
And the bundle helps. So
I am. Do you have something else to add? You can.
I was just going to say, long term, Mario Wonder will win because Mario games just have a shelf life no other game has. Like, there's still people playing Mario 1.
Yeah.
So I feel like shelf life, Mario will have it, but Christmas is Spider-Man.
They are evergreen titles. That's what Nintendo calls them, right? They just keep living and keep selling. It is kind of insane. So I agree with that. I think lifetime sales for sure, Mario will sell more. My thoughts on it are this. I'm really on the fence about it because, one, I think that Mario, I don't think we've hit the real sales of Mario yet because I think that there's going to be a ton of parents who buy this, not just for themselves, but for their kids through the Christmas season. I think it's going to be a huge seller. And there's also 100 million more Switches out there in houses than there are PS5s. So there's a much bigger install base that you're buying this game for. So I could see it winning on that account. There's also not a ton of really new AAA games on Nintendo's platform this holiday season. I mean, we got Tears of the Kingdom this year, Pikmin 4, Metroid Prime Remastered. We got a few games, and we're getting Super Mario RPG this week, but I think Mario Wonder is going to be the holiday seller for them. That and Mario Kart 8, which will never die. It will continue to sell forever.
Hey, I think Nintendo's biased about Mario Kart 8. That's all I have to say.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, there will never be another one.
No, you already knows.
People are still buying it. Why would they make a new one when people are still buying Mario Kart 8? That thing sold like 60 million copies or something like that.
I mean, it's easier to sell something that they've already made than to make a new one. So it makes sense. But
yeah,
like every week in the sales charts, Mario Kart 8 is in the top 10 somewhere.
Bro,
Like, it's insane.
how's that even possible?
I don't know. I don't know how they're still selling so many copies.
I'm like, okay, I understand from a business standpoint. No, it makes perfect sense why they're still selling that.
Yeah.
Like, it's still selling. Let's push it out even more. Like, it makes sense to me. It makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
It becomes like a Counter-Strike situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the other hand, with Spider-Man and Sony, I think that, you guys are right. There are a lot more Sony consoles available now where there weren't a year or two ago. And they bundled it. And basically, you get Spider-Man 2 for free. And in their sales reports, they're going to count that as buying Spider-Man, even though you're paying $500 for the console and they're bundling in that game. They're going to report that as sales numbers. So I think that it has a lot of potential to sell a lot through the holidays. The thing that I would, even with that, I would still say that Mario Wonder will beat it, except for this one fact. And this is hilarious. It is the only game that Sony has released this entire year. The only one, the only game. And so Sony fans are starved and they have nothing else to buy. So they're going to buy Spider-Man 2. And it's a great game. It's worth buying. I think it's worth every penny of that $70 price tag. But there's also no other first-party Sony titles to spend your money on. So I think that is what's going to push it over the edge, probably to beat Mario Wonder for the Christmas season. I mean, there was the golden something awards that just was last week or this past weekend, and it's a video game award show. I think in Europe.
Oh, the Golden Joystick.
Yes, the Golden Joystick Awards. Yeah, that's it. And the PlayStation Game of the Year, the only game on there was Spider-Man 2 from PlayStation. It was like all the other games were third-party games because Sony has no other games.
Yeah. Well, and you think about it, it's like they might not have released anything other than Spider-Man, but they have locked down some partnerships like nobody's business, because you look at Final Fantasy 16.
That's the only other one I can think of.
And then you think about
they didn't make that though, and that's my point, is that they just paid a bunch of money and didn't do any of the work and just got to release the game on their console, which is fine. That's a business transaction and that's going to happen. I don't have a problem with it. And Final Fantasy 16 was a really great game. So that's great, but they've got a bunch of their own studios. I just don't know what they're doing. Where are the games?
They've been making live service games, and now the good Lord that Jim Ryan's leaving. They're all like, not doing that no more.
Yeah, they delayed 6 out of the 12 of those, didn't they? They announced that this week. Huge delays on those games. So
that's what I'm thankful for. Is
man, what are they even going to do? I mean, this is not on the agenda. We don't need to talk about this, but you know what they need to do, Zach? You're a big PlayStation guy. You like PlayStation?
Sony Pony.
Yeah. I love my PS5. I love playing my PS5. I just wish I had more things to play on it.
Yeah.
The thing that I think they should do is that what they need to do is make a freaking SOCOM live action game. Ooh. That's what they need to do. And I don't think they're doing that. I think they've completely forgotten about SOCOM. but that's what they need to do, in my opinion.
Oh man, that's a blast from the past right there, bro.
Okay,
I haven't thought about SOCOM.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, listen. I'm not ripened like all of you guys.
SOCOM was like
Explain,
the third-person shooter.
Oh,
Like
okay,
that
okay.
was it. Like before Fortnite, competitive third-person shooter was SOCOM.
It was
All right,
like the
like-
first game I ever saw that had voice chat in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
It was
All right.
like huge Navy SEAL inspiration. It was
Mhm.
basically a recruitment game if you think about it, because every time you would load the game, it'd be like, it would have like a pamphlet about the Navy SEAls and how cool they are, Yeah.
Literally
That's
looking it
sick,
up.
bro. Okay, because I was like, okay, listen, I don't know what this is, and there's not a lot. There's not a lot of things that Bo has brought up that I haven't really known, but this one I was like, okay,
SOCOM, yeah.
what
It was
the
like,
heck are they talking
yeah,
about?
it was like a very niche, like it was like PS2's competitive third-person shooter for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
It's the
that's
only
sick.
time Sony has actually done a shooter well. 'Cause
Yeah.
You look
Yeah.
at Killzone,
Oh my
trash,
God.
Resistance, but SOCOM was awesome. The Navy, the United States Navy, was part of the development team for the
Yeah.
game.
Yo,
Yeah, it
that's
was
actually
huge.
sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like SOCOM would be awesome. I hate live service games with a fiery
Yeah.
passion because of microtransactions, which is a deep-seated hate for that. But when Sony was like, yeah, 60% of our development budget is going to live service, I'm like, we're in trouble here.
Yeah.
We are in trouble here. So them pushing back on it, and literally developers were like, I feel uncomfortable with the direction we're going in. Now that Jim Ryan's leaving, I am very happy. It's like, yeah, we might have a few famine years. We might get one game like Spider-Man 2. I'm fine with one game because we're going to get third-party stuff as well. And I've still got my Xbox. I can play whatever on that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want more live services. We got Fortnite, and I don't even play it, so I don't need any.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, there are too many. Like Sega just had one in the can, done, ready to release. Hyenas, I think it was called.
Yep.
And they
It
just
was their
canceled it.
highest budget game they've ever
Yeah.
made.
I think they realized that nobody's going to play this because it's oversaturated. And I hope that
Yep.
more companies realize that, because there's too many of them. And a few's fine, but we don't need. Everybody wants the Fortnite. Everybody wants to make the next Fortnite. I can't talk about this because my blood pressure is going to go up. Okay. we need to move on.
Yeah. Sorry, dude. You said that, and I literally had like 5 things to add to that. I'm just not gonna say it.
Oh no, you go ahead. I don't want to. I don't want to.
That topic is gonna go on for ages. I'm not starting
Yeah.
now.
Okay.
Yeah, but-
All right.
Move
I
on.
remember specifically you saying they keep capturing old trends instead of innovating. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Beast has been saying that.
In
too.
one
They do.
sense, yeah.
They do.
YouTubers are doing that with Mr. Beast. It's not happening, bro.
Yeah. basically. Everybody wants to be Mr. Beast instead of making new stuff. Boom. There you go.
Bro, people like copying people. They don't want to put in the work to make something new.
Yep.
All right. Well, so speaking of Sony and Nintendo, they are about to collaborate on something which is really bizarre.
Yeah.
But Nintendo is teaming up with Sony to create a live action The Legend of Zelda movie. And I have 2 questions for you guys. Well, I have 3 questions. One, Falcon, did you know that Nintendo announced that they're making okay.
Yeah, I'm aware.
2, do you think that Link will be allowed to speak in this movie? Will he have actual dialogue? Or will we hear his voice?
Okay. Do you
And will it be Chris Pratt?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Do you want me to give a factual answer, or do you want me to give just a funny answer?
Whatever answer you want to give. buddy,
Okay,
it's
I'm gonna
fine.
give the funny answer first, okay? So no, honestly, I want it to be a silent film, and I want there to only be subtitles. No, but dude, the other thing is, inside of Zelda Breath of the Wild, like not Tears of the Kingdom, if you read Zelda's diary, it
Mhm.
talks about that Link has they're very good. So it's not that Link can't talk, he just chooses not to.
Right,
So
right.
I think that
Yeah.
they'll give him very few lines, but I think that he'll probably end up speaking in.
Okay, so you just don't think he'll have very many lines?
Yeah,
That's-
they gotta stay true to Link's personality. I swear, if they don't, I'll be so sad.
Make him like John Wick with a sword.
Honestly,
Just
though,
ex-
make him a
keep
menace.
keep the dialogue, but like twice as less as John Wick's, because usually John Wick just says something like "yeah," like instead just have Link go.
Yeah, bro.
That's it.
Yeah.
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 Oh my god. Yeah. I'm nervous about it, to say the least, bro. It's
Really?
scary. I'm nervous because Sony is teaming up with Nintendo to make a movie solely based on what Nintendo's done.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how it's gonna go. I'm just scared. I don't know how
Well,
it works.
look, I tell you how it's going to go. They're both going to make a ton of money. That's how it's going to go.
Yeah.
I think that after the success of the Mario movie, Sony, they're jumping at the the chance to help them out with this. So in this little article I've got pulled up here, I forgot what my third question was, but in this article that I pulled up here, my third question was, who do you think will actually play Link? Do you have any suggestions? You can think about that. They said in here that they're going to be working very closely. Nintendo also stated the company will be deeply involved in the movie production with the aim to put smiles on everyone's faces through entertainment. Pretty vague, but I guess hopeful. That's if that's like a mission statement, that's their goal. They want to put smiles on everyone's faces. So, I don't think it's not going to be a rated R Zelda movie. It's going to be something that's accessible to everybody, but it's going to be fun. I think that's the right call, and hopefully it'll be really good.
Yeah, I think, think about Sony. They've got a pretty good track record with taking established IP and being able to put it on the screen. Spider-Man, going all the way back to Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Being able to translate that, which has been, cartoons and all of that, but before live action, didn't really work. So I think that they could possibly, if everything aligns right, could be a decent movie. The Uncharted movie, I'm not even counting that one, or Gran Turismo, but I'm thinking about just Spider-Man. We're just throwing in that Spider-Man here.
He's like, no, those other ones, no.
Don't count.
They don't exist. No.
But with their statement and everything, it's like everyone's going to be entertained, from the people that don't even know that Zelda is actually the princess to the ones that know, everything about all the convoluted timelines of The Legend of Zelda. Like, I think that's their goal, is to be able to put those Easter eggs in there to feed people enough to be able to keep them coming back. Because if you mess this up, you've lost the gaming people. Because like, you look at all the bad gaming movies, Doom, Blood Rain, Hitman, like all of those
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
The first Mario Brothers.
Oh God.
Yeah. Look, Super Mario Bros. Movie was good. Okay. It was actually good. I actually like the two Sonic the Hedgehog movies. I think they're all right. They're pretty good. They're not going to win any awards, but they're entertaining movies. I think that you're right. I think they can't afford to mess this up. It will never happen again, at least not in the next 2 decades. If this is a total bomb, so I am surprised, however, that it's going to be live action, because I kind of thought they would stick with the animation and maybe build some kind of connected universe that led to a Super Smash Brothers movie or something crazy like that.
Yeah. But I'd be so fired.
I guess they still can in some way. I mean, you can always, like, Link can jump through a portal and suddenly he's a cartoon. It can be that easy.
They can do whatever they want. So,
but that's a good point you bring up, Zach. That there's going to be people going who don't know that Zelda is the princess. Yeah, there will be a lot of that, I think. But speaking of that, who should play Zelda and Link? And will it be, because of their relationship with Sony, Tom Holland and Zendaya?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
No, yeah. Please. Oh my gosh, I do not. Okay, Tom Holland is cool. I have nothing against Tom Holland, but I swear, if he's playing Link, I will quit watching any of the franchise movies. Like, I'm so sad. I would be so sad.
I can't think of who else has the
he has
for it, though.
He has the right body type.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet. That's going to be the guy.
Who?
Timothy Chalamet.
The guy from
Dune.
Yeah.
Like Willy Wonka, like he's got the body for it. He's got the star power because he's doing all of this right now. I think Tom Holland would be the easy pick, but I feel like Timothy Chalamet is the kind of the underlier. I feel like he's going to be more people like, okay, yeah, I'll go with him instead of Tom Holland. I feel like more people would be accepting of that. Or we could again get Chris Pratt. We get like a really old Link. He's just like this.
Now Chris Pratt's going to be the Deku Tree.
Oh my goodness.
Or he could be one of the fairies.
Bro,
listen.
Literally.
Watch them give him a cameo though. Like, I'm expecting it at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, you guys heard that Chris Pratt's playing Garfield, right?
Yes.
I'm just making sure. Okay. Like, I feel like he's in everything right now.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Voice actors are so mad right now.
Dude, he's stealing all their food.
He really is.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. I hope that this is a good movie. I hope that people do, and I hope it really does put smiles on everybody's faces. but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So one more thing I wanted to bring up, speaking of Mario still, this is why I think this movie is happening, is because of this sales report here about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. So they had their investors report or whatever meeting, I think last week. So they announced this, that the global box office revenue of the Super Mario Bros. Movie was $1,361,000,000.
I'm gonna throw up.
That's a lot of money.
Boatload of money.
Think they made back what they spent on the movie, and then a little bit. But this is what's even more. That's just the movie. This is actually really interesting about this. Is this next slide? I don't know if you guys can see this, but
I couldn't. I saw you were screen sharing it before you started recording, and then you started recording and it went away.
oh well, that stinks. What happened to it?
It didn't want to be featured in the podcast.
Okay, hang on a second.
I'm sorry, bro.
Can you see it now?
Yeah.
You can?
Yes.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. Before you continue, though, and this is totally off topic, but it's distracting my brain right now. Oh, and it went away, by the way.
It went away.
What's playing on your device down there? I'm sorry.
Why is it
That
going
looks
away?
like I got you. That looks like
Spyro.
Sonic.
Spyro.
Yeah.
Dang.
It was playing multiple different things. It's been
It's
changing. Is what it's
yeah,
doing.
it's a screensaver.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's in the back of my brain. Like the whole time you're talking, I'm like, and then I'm like kind of looking down at the screen.
Now it's Paper Mario.
Dude.
So this is the review I did release today or published.
Yeah,
today.
I saw it this morning, but I wasn't able to watch it.
So weirdly, I can see this on my screen, but you guys can't see it, and it's not
I can see it
showing up
now.
in my
Yeah.
recording
Yeah.
either. So I don't know
Yeah, I'm like, I can see
why
it
that's
now.
happening.
Oh,
All right. Well, forget
Fine.
it. So you can't see it now, but you could see it
No.
before. All right. Well, I'll just tell you what it says.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So it's a graphic where they are talking about the positive impact on Super Mario games because of the movie. So from April through September, the sell-through of Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8, Super Mario Maker 2, and Super Mario 3D World on the Switch, the sales were up 130%
Wow.
over last year when those games were newer.
Wow.
The number of unique users for Super Mario related mobile apps, April through September, which would be Mario Kart 8, or not Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart, whatever it's called, World Tour, I think is what it's called, and Super Mario Run, that was up 140% over last year in the same time frame. So the movie did not just do well, it impacted the sell-through rate of Super Mario games. And new users signing up for accounts on mobile apps. So that is why they can't like, they're not going to ignore that. That is a lot of money on top of a lot of money they already made. So they're going to obviously look at other IPs and think, okay, what can we do with this? And I think Zelda is the natural next step, especially if you want to do something in the live action genre. I think if you're going to do live action, which is a risk, I think, a little more risky than the cartoon, but if you're going to do it, you got to do it with Zelda or Metroid. I think those are your two options. So they're going Zelda, and we'll see what happens.
It's interesting because, like, you look at Marvel and how big Marvel was. It did not impact the sales of comic books like everyone thought they would.
No.
Like collectors, yes, because I used to be heavy into comic book collecting and everything. Collectors, we were buying stuff all the time. The just average Joe,
Right.
they weren't buying comic books. Like, the industry has been on a steady decline, even when you have these big blockbuster movies. So seeing that for Mario, I think having like a more interactive thing to do, and it's more aimed at kids, I think it's really, really interesting. I like it.
Now, speaking of Marvel, like Zach brought up, like if they can do the build up right and they can get the universes to collide, we're talking like Infinity War levels of profit potentially. I don't want to get like hype myself up here, but like you said, if it ends up being like a Smash movie where everyone combines and they get the Samus movie out, you know, they get the Links, they get the maybe even Fire Emblem, that'd be amazing. I think. Woo, we're talking. Yeah,
we've already got Detective
Falcon, you're
Pikachu.
muted, buddy.
Yeah, I think you're muted. So it's
My bad. I muted myself earlier because I was taking a bite of my spaghetti.
yeah.
No, dude, Fire Emblem is literally my favorite franchise, though.
Yeah, like if
Really?
they do something like that.
It's probably
Oh,
one of like,
Tactics.
I'm like, bro, I don't have tactics in my name for no reason. I'm like, dude, I am literally a geek for strategy
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Especially those ones, bro. Those types of strategy. Oh,
That's what I mean. Yeah, they throw that in there, do a Luigi's Mansion or something, which they kind of like hinted at it in the movie. But yeah, they can really do something absolutely special.
And
I think they know
already
that.
got Pokemon with like Detective Pikachu
Right.
and everything.
Ooh.
So
yeah.
it's like they're already kind of
Yeah.
setting some things up, and it kind of writes itself. I did have one more. This is for the 80s people out there. Jean-Claude Van Damme from Link. Just,
He might be a little too old for that.
Yeah, I'm like
you
that
know,
guy.
doesn't have to
man.
say anything. He doesn't really say much in his movies
No,
anyway.
he does not. Yeah.
Fair enough.
my god.
In fact, I can't even hear his voice in my head. That's how little I've heard it. Oh man, that would be kind of hilarious. It would be hilarious if somebody made like a gag reel of him playing Link as.
Yeah, that would be great. Did you guys see that one when all the actors were announced for the Mario movie, right? And then like there was that Bowser one that was going all the way around when they said that Jack Black was going to play Bowser. They took some stuff from School of Rock and they pasted it over and made animations, bro. It was so good. It was so good.
That's awesome.
Oh my
That's
god.
hilarious. Well, hey, you know what? Thanksgiving's next week. Do you guys like Thanksgiving?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, sir.
No, not yes, yes.
It's kind of I don't know, it's an odd holiday, I guess. But I think it's an important one. I think it's important for us to stop and actually have a dedicated day where we stop and like be grateful for what we have in our life. But I wanted to just throw this out there as I thought it would be interesting to know. What game are you most grateful to have played and why? Or if you want to think about it this way, who are you most grateful to have a gaming memory with and why? And what game were you playing when you made that memory?
You want us to do both or just one?
You can do both or you can do one, whichever. You want to start?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
hit us with it.
All right. So probably one of my favorite memories of playing games. But yeah, I've recently been playing an old game that I played back in, I don't know. I played it when I was like 10 and I watched my brother play it even before that. It's called Fire Emblem Path of Radiance and the story is really good. The gameplay is really good on the game. And that's probably, I'm playing it again recently and I'm like, dang, it's just as good as it was before. And I'm just like, it's nice going back to a game and realizing that it's like, it's just as much as I loved it. So yeah, I'm thankful for that game. I think one of my favorite gaming memories, especially once I came on YouTube with my people. Obviously, I have gaming memories with my brother. They're like with my brothers, like they're all awesome. But I have to say, when we played Headbangers, that was fun. That was fun. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, especially when, yeah, dude, that was so good. That Halloween special, bro. Yeah. It's like that sitcom episode where all the guys are all wearing costumes the whole episode and they don't mention it until that guy comes in and breaks the fourth wall. You know what I'm saying, bro? Just how it is.
It was fun. It was fun. That was a good night. Zach, we played, have you seen Headbangers Rhythm Royale? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, unfortunately, yes.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can't, man. I can't. The fact that he actually knew is like actually more impressive.
Yeah, I
He's
do.
like, do I admit that I know this? I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm really good at the identifying the instruments. Like I'm always number one on that because I was a band director for a long time. So
Okay.
like I'm like bang right there.
I have a question. It sounds like you played it a lot more than we did. Like you played it for a long time.
He was a
Yeah,
beta tester. He's been playing for months.
I
He was
actually
one of those
developed
weird skin guys.
Oh my goodness.
It was a lot more fun than any of us expected it to be.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Until
yeah.
Yuki started getting angry at it and raging after you left. Yuki, I'm sorry.
We were going up against people sponsored, I'm telling you.
bro, dude. Honestly, dude, these
Did
guys,
you have that problem, Zach? Were you going up against absolute like monsters?
bro.
Later on, it was just like, okay, I literally have a degree in music. And
Right.
then some of these people are just like, I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, what's going on here? Like, that ain't right.
I'm
Oh my
just like,
goodness.
this is insane.
We only got one win when we were playing, and we didn't even get it when Bo was there. Like,
Yeah.
and
And it was an RNG win. It wasn't even a real win.
yeah, it was like, oh, he got
It
this
was
item,
luck.
and I put him at the finish line. We're like, what? It's so stupid, bro.
I'm gonna grow gray hairs thinking about it.
well,
Oh my goodness.
You rage quits again.
No, literally. It was so bad.
well, that is a good memory, Falcon. I'm thankful for that
We all
memory.
laughed.
Yeah, right. That might take the cake. Yeah, it's good.
What about you, Zach? You got one?
So my like most favorite memory with a game, grateful that I played, would be Mass Effect 1. Like the story, just that world building, everything that was involved with that. Oh, like the first game that I put in my 360. Unfortunately, I put Strongholds after that, which is an awful like kung fu game. Do not play that. The game's awful. But Mass Effect 1. Whew, that was good. The memory that I have, my best friend that unfortunately passed away about 10 years ago, we were playing Gears of War 1 at his house. And I was like, I didn't have internet in my house. So I was like, we should listen to the song that they put in the trailer, the Gary Jules. And I told him, I was like, on repeat. And we listened to that song through the whole game. He was like, Zach, can we stop? I was like, nope, we're gonna keep it going.
Just had it on repeat.
Wow.
I love that.
Yes, man. My goodness.
Wow.
Just as you're ripping people in half, I love it.
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Awesome. Yugi?
Okay. Off recent memory, I played it a little later, and I would have to say the game that I'm grateful for and I'm still grateful for is have you guys heard of the best couch co-op game that's ever been released to this day? It Takes Two. If you've had the pleasure to play it, oh my goodness, yeah. Probably, yeah, I can't think of many games that top it because it just has so much to it and why it's special and near and dear to my heart, and I'm thankful for it. And I would say in terms of memory, it would be because in the game the story goes it's like a married couple and they're going through some trials. We didn't know that, but at the time me and my wife were kind of going to therapy because of like not even a similar issue, but we were kind of going through some stuff and we kind of like bonded over that game. And now it's like every time we see a co-op game, we're like, this just isn't this just isn't the same thing as It Takes Two. Like, so it's that good in the sense of like it's a very, very near and dear special place in our heart. And then that ties into, I would say, a game I'm grateful for, and that's Fall Guys. I hate to admit it, but that game because it was the first game that got me into streaming, of course. And then on top of that, my wife's been there since day one. She was basically my stream partner, and she was playing with me, and remembering getting our first win together was together, so definitely I would say I'm grateful for that game. It's getting a little stagnant, but I am grateful for it. I can't deny that.
Very
that
cool.
Queen cutie scene in It Takes Two. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's
Trauma.
just, right. Yo, I'm telling you, man. And yeah, I'm trying so hard to get her to replay with me, but like she's like, it just doesn't hit the same as the first time,
Yeah.
That first experience, like I wish we could like Men in Black, like hold on, my camera's acting up. Men in Black, like erase our memory from it and then replay it. Yeah, because it's just that good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mine, I guess I have two memories with people. One is I have this memory playing way back when my cousin came over for like a family meal event or something. I don't know if it's somebody's birthday or what, but he had gotten a Sega Game Gear, and I thought it was like the first time I'd ever seen like a portable color screen, that you could carry around, and I thought that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And I remember the battery life on it was absolutely terrible, but it was total trash. I mean, it was seriously like 10 minutes or something, and you had to. So it was portable, but you basically had to live next to an electrical outlet to play it because you needed to plug it in pretty often. And
you didn't have plug-in chargers back then, like portable chargers back then.
Well, no, it didn't come with a recharge. You had to use AA's, so you could get rechargeable AA's. But yeah,
I didn't. I thought you meant you had to charge it or something.
No, you just had to plug it in. You could play off of AC power. But so he had NBA Jam, and I remember sitting in my room in the corner on the floor playing NBA Jam with him, and it was just, I don't know, it was just like this most awesome experience because like it was like the net caught on fire and the backboard shattered and all this stuff, and it's like you're playing it in your hand. I was like, what is going on? And then so the reason I cherish that memory because he passed away quite a while ago now, but it's just like one of those memories that I think I just want the fun time that I had with him playing Game Gear. And then the other one is GoldenEye 007. Because I went to this like nerd camp one summer and was roomed with this guy, and we ended up playing this like it was the most epic match of any shooter game I've ever played in my life, because we were playing to 20 and it was 19-19. I mean, we were like right neck and neck the whole game, and he had about this much life left, y'all, like nothing. and the bullet that was going to take him out was hurtling towards his head when I died and he won. I mean, it was like if it were real life, like the bullets might have hit each other and smashed, like in a movie or something. And that guy ended up being my college roommate for several years. He was in my wedding, and like we don't live close to each other anymore, and so we don't get to talk a whole lot. But I know that if I were to contact him at any point, like if I called him right now, I could tell him anything, right now, and he'd be there to support me, pray for me, whatever I needed, and the same me for him. And it's just good to have those kind of friends. And it was weirdly GoldenEye that kind of forever bonded us together in that way. So
What a good
I love it.
Oh my gosh, let's go.
So one of the things we've been doing in the last few episodes is we've been kind of looking at gaming and how that intersects with faith. And we've been talking about our faith and just exploring a story or a quote or an aspect of a game and how it might relate to the Bible. And I asked Zach if he had any games he might want to throw into that conversation tonight. And he said, yeah, I think I could come up with something. So I'm going to hand it over to you for a minute, Zach, and let you kind of set us up for this discussion. And then we'll talk about it.
Awesome. So when Bo asked me, I was like, okay, I know the perfect thing, because when I was playing through Spider-Man 2, I started thinking, I was like, man, this is like a sermon, like ready to go up in here. So
Let's go.
the symbiote that's in Spider-Man, not just the game, but like any Spider-Man media, has always been interesting. It always looks way cooler than just like the regular Spider-Man suit, but it comes with a price. It always comes with a price. You might get, better strength, agility, durability, all of these things, but there's always weaknesses. And one of the things that has always been there has been this like shift in like the mentality, like the thought process that whoever's wearing the symbiote suit goes through. And playing through Spider-Man 2, you see it through multiple people, and we've seen it in different shows and all of that. And I was like, that is just like when the enemy, the devil, is like working on your mind. It's like you're looking through like fear, you're angry, like you're just looking through that lens. And I was like, man, that's exactly how the enemy wants us to just go through life, is through either fear or worry. Like we're worshiping situations going on. And you can see that all through Spider-Man 2 is things that people haven't really talked to or prayed about. That's the things that start bubbling up on the surface as soon as they get attached to these things. And I was like, man, this is really good. But like when you really think of it, like it goes to Ephesians 4:31 and 32, like get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, and harsh words, and slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. And then like the opposite, instead be kind to each other, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you. And you see this through like the whole game. These people that are attached to this thing, attached to this mindset, they're not forgiving people. They're holding on to the hurts. They're holding on to these things. They might not be realizing the dreams or the things that they've wanted, so they're blaming others for that. And I know I've definitely been there, where I've been confused, consumed by fear, anxious thoughts, and all of that. And you start worshiping it. That's all you can see. That's all you focus on. When you wake up, the first things are these thoughts that just start popping up. And instead, what we should be doing is handing it to God, being like, God, I can't do it. I need you to do it. It's like, I don't want this thing. And that's one of the great things about the whole like symbiote suit and everything, like in the shows and all of that. It's like, it's a choice to let go of that. It's a choice to let go of those fears, those thoughts. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, for God has not given us a spirit of fear and timidity, but power, love, and self-discipline. And some other translations say a sound mind, but self-discipline. I love that version of it, is because you have to discipline yourself. You have to discipline the thoughts. You like anything that comes in your mind, you need to be like, is this good or is this bad? Is this a fear or is this of love? And then wherever it goes, that's the bin it goes to. If it's in fear, you don't keep it. So I love that. And Romans 12:2 says this: don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. Like the transformation that you go through, taking on that symbiote suit, taking on that fear, you're going through a transformation one way or another. The choices that you go through, are you going through fear? Are you going through anxiety? You've got somebody that's willing to take it all for you.
Yeah.
And I'll finish it up with this. 1 Peter 5:7-9 says, "Give all your worries and cares to God, for he cares about you. Stay alert. Watch out for the great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Like a roaring lion. He's not a lion. He's acting like it. He doesn't really have any power. But stand firm against him and be strong in your faith. Remember that your family of believers all over the world is going through the same kind of suffering you are. You're not alone in it." And that's one of the great things about Spider-Man. He's never alone. He always has MJ. He has Aunt May. He's got all the people around him that care about him. And that's the same thing with us. We have people that care about us. We might not be talking to them. We might have issues with them, but deep down, they still care about us.
Yeah, that's really good. You're spot on with all that stuff you said. And I think it's interesting in that game when Venom comes to Peter, it looks like it comes to save his life, but really that's a facade. It's a lie. It's actually come to take over and destroy his life. Yep. And I think that, sometimes we can think, oh, well, if I allow this fear to control me, well, then I can't be disappointed because I won't fail because I didn't try or like that's just one example. Well, no, that fear that you're allowing to control your life is actually destroying you. It's keeping you from reaching the potential that God wants you to reach. It's keeping you from doing the good works that he's laid out before you to do. And that's what sin does. It attaches us and starts to suck the life out of us instead of actually saving our life, like it might say that it's going to do.
Yeah. If I can jump in, and if you think about it, if you remember in the game, Peter's like, "Hey, this isn't too bad. I actually feel pretty great. This is good. I need this." And then it gets to the point where it becomes like this toxic relationship where it's affecting his personal relationship and his friendship, to where he's rationalizing the way he's acting and defending it and justifying his actions, knowing well that this isn't helping. And he even recognizes it in the end. He's like, "I got to get rid of this suit. This isn't me."
But it takes his friends who are there with him, like Zach was saying, to break that mindset that he's fallen into and to free himself from that. So I just wanted to say that.
No, I love that. And tying into that, I would say symbolically, I love that sound is its biggest weakness, to the point that it's like a visceral reaction. And you can look at that as like the word of God, the sound, his actual God speaking to us, reading the word out loud. And I don't like opening up about this too much, but I'll do a Bo Knows Gamers exclusive. Okay. I used to have dreams of casting out demons, and I would actually say the word of God and they would run viscerally. I'm not talking like, I'm saying they would scurry like roaches when you turn on the light. Like they would run. And it kind of like reminded me of that when as Zach was talking about it, like just a visceral reaction from the word of God and hearing it is kind of like, I would say that would be like almost like the kryptonite to, who he was talking about earlier, which is the enemy. Yeah.
Very cool.
Got a little weird, but hey, I can't explain it. And this was even before I got saved. I didn't realize what it was until I spoke to a pastor, and he was like, "Yeah, that's how it is." And I was like, but you guys get it, but I can't explain it to a lot of people. So I appreciate that I can share that, because I haven't told many people. Thank you.
Yeah. It is important that we remember that we're not alone, and that there are people that care about us, and that we can cast our cares. I can't remember how the version you said worded it there in 1 Peter, but it says that, hey, whatever it is that's bothering you, put it all on my shoulders. Put it all on me. Bring it to me. And, in the Gospels, Jesus says, my yoke is easy, my burden is light. And he's like, you can find rest here in me. And too often we think, well, I can't go to God with this because I got to clean it up first. I got to get the symbiote suit off first before he'll accept me, and that's just not how it is. And I think that Jesus is a lot like Peter's friends in that game. Jesus is coming to you and saying, no, this is not who I made you to be. Let's rip this thing off, but you have to make that choice.
And not to spoil anything, but there's something later on that happens in the game where something's the opposite of the evil thoughts and all of that, and it's the only thing that combat it. It's the one thing that can go against the darkness. And we
don't want to spoil anything, but I don't think we did. I don't think we ruined anything there. Yeah, that was a really good game to bring up for that part of the discussion. I like that a lot. A lot of good analogies in there, and if we sat here and talked about it more, we'd probably come up with more, because it really is a lot like the way the world is, the way humanity is in the midst of sin. I had a mentor who used to say that he battled with depression. If he woke up in the morning and it was cloudy and rainy outside, he would just be like, he would just start to get depressed just because it was cloudy and rainy, and he just didn't even want to get out of bed. And he finally, came to a place where he realized that was not something that God did not make him that way, to be that way, that there was something that was more deeply rooted that he needed to be rid of. And so he started to pray about those things and to give God that depression and say, God, you know what? I'm going to rest in you because I know that if I'm yoked to you, when you got two oxen and they're yoked together, they have to go in the same direction, So when we yoke ourselves to Jesus, man, we got to go in the same direction that he's going, and he's not headed towards depression. He's headed the opposite way of all of that stuff, So it's a good thing to yoke yourself to Jesus. Yeah, and he was able to, Jesus overcame all of that stuff in his life because he finally realized I wasn't made for that.
Amen.
Very good.
Yeah, I feel like we can go on all day about biblical principles in Spider-Man because I just thought of like 5.
Yeah,
it's
forgiveness.
So good. Forgiveness. And I was thinking too, it just kind of hit me. I'm gonna throw this out as quick as I can because I don't want to take up too much time. But I remember Bo saying, he was like in his Spider-Man 2 review, and he was talking about how he didn't understand why Peter didn't take donations. But think about it. Peter, unironically with the name, is following the biblical principle of what was freely given, freely give. Because remember, Jesus instructed his disciples, don't go out there and collect money. Don't go out there and accept anything. If someone will let you stay in their house, let them stay. And unironically, Spider-Man is following that principle and, freely helping with what was freely given to him. And it's amazing. Look at that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, isn't that crazy?
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm kind of happy I haven't played the game because I feel like I would have so many things that I could talk about too. I'm just listening.
It's good. It's good.
It's very good.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on that?
Like I said, I'm gonna stop.
Okay, let's get into the Game of the Year discussion stuff. I really thought, so on the Game of the Year or Game Awards website, it said that the cutoff date for nominations was November 17th. So I really thought that they wouldn't announce any of the nominees until after the 17th. And today is the 14th, and yesterday on the 13th they announced all of the nominees. So not sure what's up with that because we still have some games that haven't come out yet, like Super Mario RPG and Persona 5 Tactica. Those are coming out Friday, which was the cutoff date. So you didn't want to wait for those. Those are kind of big name titles. You didn't want to wait for those to see if they're gonna.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of agree with you on that, bro. Dude, I'm about to play it on Friday.
Really?
I'm gonna play it Friday morning. I already have it. I pre-ordered it. It's downloaded.
Which one?
A Super Mario RPG. Sorry,
Yeah.
RPG.
Yeah.
I feel like though, since they're deeper in the industry, they've already got review codes and everything. So if it was going to make the list, the date wouldn't have been the issue. So I feel like they were like, well, it didn't make the cut. So I think that's more the thing than them snubbing it in that way. But this being a anyway, remakes. I've got my opinions.
You're probably right about that, but it still seems like if you say it has to be by the 17th, you wouldn't announce until afterwards. It just feels a little weird to me. And they said mid-November. Well, it's mid-November. If you're cutting it into thirds, the 20th is still technically the last day of mid-November. So I think that they could have waited and they just didn't want to. Yes, there are some things to discuss here. So the nominees for Game of the Year there's 6 spots every year, and the nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Are you surprised by any of those? Is anybody surprised by any of those?
I want to hear what Yuki has to say now because he's surprised. I'm not surprised.
Unless there's something I'm missing, I'm trying to figure out maybe why Final Fantasy isn't on there, or I guess I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed, I guess would be more, that Starfield isn't on there. Bethesda, come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
What happened?
Or Diablo 4. I played a ton of Diablo 4, and I'm surprised it was huge when it came out. Before, I feel like Baldur's Gate kind of threw it in a ditch, but like RE4, like I know like that's like a juggernaut within the Resident Evil like canon and everything, but I don't know, like remakes I feel like don't deserve to be on Game of the Year list because they've already had their go around for that. So I feel like Final Fantasy 16 has a way better like call for that than RE4.
Okay. Well, that was going to be one of my other questions. If you could replace one of these, which would it be, and what would you put in its place? Because again, I mean, they set the rules. They could expand it with a year that we've had in gaming. They could have expanded it to 8 or 10 games. You know, there's been a crazy year, but they kept it at 6. So if you had to replace one, Zach, I am assuming that you would replace Resident Evil 4 remake for 100%. The reasons you just said. And you put Final Fantasy 16 there?
Yeah, I haven't even played it, but I feel like that's a big one. That or Diablo 4, either one of those.
Gotcha. What about you, Yugi? Which one would
Same. Yeah, I'd take out RE4. I think everything else is fine. I wouldn't argue with any of it, but RE4, like, and I love that game. There's no way though that, like he said, like a remake should be on there. It's just, it just feels unfair to the new launches and to Resident Evil. You know, I mean, I'm sorry, into Final Fantasy 16 because again, I haven't personally played it, but I've watched people and people I'm close with play, and they're like, I can't turn this game off. And from what I saw and from what I understand, you know, the same people that made Devil May Cry worked on it, right, Zach?
I'm not 100% sure.
Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
I think some of them did, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the way the combat system was.
The combat is more similar to Devil May Cry, yeah.
Yeah, like we're talking about new characters, new story, new soundtrack. Like, that's kind of unfair.
Yeah. And to be able to like turn into a kaiju and just like destroy stuff.
Oh, like, man, yeah. I'm doing myself a disservice by not playing it, you know, and it's just I only have time for so much. But I think if you're gonna put it next to everything, you can't put RE4 there. That's just weird. It's not like of the year. It's just a remake of a different time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Party Animals deserves it more than all.
right. Like because it came out this year. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I agree with you guys. Like, despite me not being surprised about the list, I agree with you, though. I don't really like that a remake is on the list next to a whole bunch of new games that came out this year, especially when they had a whole bunch of choices to choose from. Like, it's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
it just left a sour taste. And there was one award show, and I just happened to stumble upon it because I was scrolling through YouTube, and like they had the horror games of the year, and Resident Evil 4 won. And I was like, even then, it felt like nasty. I'm like, ew, like don't do that. That's so unfair. Like, because there are like a lot of indie games on there. There was a lot of new, and I'm not even that big into horror, but when I saw that and I saw Resident Evil 4 remake one, I was like, that's just so messed up. Like, it just feels wrong because that's such a niche genre. It's like a hardcore audience there. Like I said, I'm not part of it, but like, you know, there's some genuine like innovators in that space, and it's a shame that like Capcom could just come in and just dunk on them, like so they could just remake the next like 3 games after 4 and never have a problem. Like, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I agree. I think that if I were going to replace one, that's the obvious choice because it's a remake, like you guys said. But the precedent for it has been set. Resident Evil 2 remake was nominated for Game of the Year back the year that it came out. I can't remember what year that was, 2019 maybe, or I can't remember what year it was, but it was nominated that year too. It did not win, but it was one of the 6 games. What I would put in its place is a much harder question for me to answer. I can't make up my mind. I think that honestly, the game that surprised me most this year that was, I just think, absolutely excellent, I didn't expect to be in there, is Hi-Fi Rush. Thought that game was amazing. The one that I also really liked that's not in there is Jedi Survivor. I actually really liked Jedi Survivor. Now, it didn't get the review scores that it needed because it came out kind of broken. I think if it had not come out broken like it was, especially on PC, you would see a lot higher scores, and it might be in these top 6 here, or these 6 nominees. But unfortunately they put it out too quick, I guess, and so it kind of hurt it.
I think my only issue with like Survivor, which I'm a huge Star Wars fan, love the game, the story beats, like where it feels like it's like, all right, we've killed the big bad, and then it's like, oh wait, here's the twist. It felt just really like it just kind of like strung out, and then it was like cool after that, but it was like this weird like limbo state for a while, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I was like, there's fixing to be a twist. I was literally telling my chat, I was like, there's fixing to be a twist. I was like, no way this is going to end this way. And that was my only like complaint about the game. The rest of it was amazing, but the story was like, sure about that?
Yeah, it definitely felt like it was about to end, and then it didn't.
Yeah.
And it went on. I actually liked that part, but it did feel a little weird. It felt weird, but I did like the twist.
Yeah.
I think that maybe what happens with the twist and leading up to the actual final boss could have been done a little better.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy it personally. So
Well, who do we think is going to win Game of the Year?
we didn't even talk about who do you think is gonna win? Actually, yeah, that's a good question.
Now I'm gonna let you know. I've played. Oh dang, that's so sad. I've played 2 games on the 6 games that are there.
More than me.
Okay? I'm like, I played Tears of the Kingdom, haven't beaten it, and I've played Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and I'm close to beating it, but I still haven't beaten it. And I saw all the other games. I've seen all the other games. All the other games are amazing, but I haven't played them, so I'm gonna give a biased review. And even Spider-Man 2, I'm biased about that game despite not playing it either. I feel like it's gonna be like between Baldur's Gate, from what I've seen on Baldur's Gate, Spider-Man 2, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. That's what I think. And if it's not, I still think Super Mario Bros. Wonder is gonna win like the family game or whatever it is, like the multiplayer game thing. So
there is a family game category. Yeah,
I heard that Super Mario Bros. Wonder was like nominated for 2 other categories. So
yeah, it has a few other nominations. I've played 3 of these. I've played Spider-Man 2, Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom, and I have not 100%ed Wonder yet, Falcon, but I did finish it the other night. I got to the end.
Dude, if I didn't get sick, bro, I would have finished it before you.
It was really good. It was really good. And the thing about Super Mario Bros. Wonder is it just like I kept catching myself just smiling, like I'm just playing. I finish a level and then I like have this self-aware moment where I realize I'm just sitting here smiling. Like it was just so joyful to play through that game. And Spider-Man, you know, kind of has you on the edge of your seat. You're kind of excited. You know, or maybe you're a little bit nervous about what's going to happen next or whatever. And that was a lot of fun too. But it didn't give me like it didn't make me happy. Like Super Mario Wonder just makes you happy. I don't know.
Bro, dude, I found so many times on my stream, bro, that like it's like streamers are supposed to have commentary. They're supposed to be talking the whole time. And then I found many times, bro, like I collect that wonder flower, bro, and things start going, you know, they start being wonderful, you know. And like, dude, I find myself just staring, and my chat is like doing the same thing. They're like, what is happening? You're right, dude. I just can't let down that smile. I'm just like, oh my god,
it's very good.
It gets that gamer experience that you want, bro.
Yeah, and it's one of those that literally anybody can play, no matter your age, and I love that. So I don't know. If you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said it's going to come down to Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom, but I actually think that it's going to come down to Alan Wake 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. I do.
Is Alan Wake 2 that good?
And
yeah,
here's why. Really? There's a lot of buzz around Alan Wake 2 right now. It's getting a lot of people are talking about it in the industry. And in 2019, Remedy, is it Remedy?
Yeah. Control.
Won with Control, which is apparently tied to the Alan Wake universe.
Yep.
However loosely. And so I do think that Alan Wake 2 has a shot at winning Game of the Year.
So
yeah, I was gonna go ahead.
Go ahead, Yugi.
Oh, I was gonna say the same thing. I feel like it's gonna be just because of the buzz that I saw on X, formerly known as Twitter, and the culture. I love saying that. Just the culture behind it and how much it shook. Like a lot of people felt like it shook the industry. I feel like it'd be Baldur's Gate by a landslide, just from what the buzz around it and everything. I just didn't know Alan Wake was that good. Like if it's like that, then maybe I could see that. Yeah, but it's probably going to be Baldur's Gate 3 in my estimation, but I could be wrong.
I kind of as the person who literally hasn't watched anything on Baldur's Gate 3, I know what it is. I know it's good. And seeing it on the nominees didn't even make me surprised. It didn't even faze me. Like all of the information I have from it is just from people talking about it.
Yeah.
Like,
and when people talk about it, they got nothing bad to say. Yeah.
Exactly. Like everything I've heard about is good. Resident Evil, I actually had to go look stuff up in order to know about it. Like for the remake, I've seen it before, but I had to go look it up. Along with Tears of the Kingdom, along with Alan Wake, even Spider-Man 2, I still had to look things up in order to actually see some information about it. Baldur's Gate, I heard about it from everyone. Like I wouldn't be surprised.
Definitely like the Elden Ring of this year.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3. but it's also technically an indie game, and I don't know how much impact that has on their decision. I don't know if an indie game has ever won Game of the Year. I can't remember, but it is technically indie.
I don't think that's necessarily an issue here because, like you were saying, the Elden Ring effect is full effect right now with Baldur's Gate 3. It was Tears of the Kingdom was that way earlier in the year. Everybody on TikTok, oh, here's my build. Look at this crazy thing. Look at this. But Baldur's Gate 3, the meme culture around it has been just crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't played it, but I know it's been crazy. Spider-Man 2, you see a few memes here and there. You if you know somebody's played it, they'll talk about it. But Baldur's Gate 3, they're like evangelizing that game.
Yeah,
They're going into the highways of that.
like I'm telling you, if I'm telling you right now, like if Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't win, like Twitter's gonna explode. Like people are gonna be angry if it doesn't win. Like, yeah.
And Alan Wake 2 kind of has like the God of War effect where it came out, God of War Ragnarok came out right before the Game Awards. So it has that like recency bias.
Yeah.
But Elden Ring kind of proved that last year. It's like if it has the staying power, it can beat the recency bias. So like the way it's going to go, whoever wins game direction, which is the one right before Game of the Year, will not win Game of the Year. So I feel like game direction is probably going to be either Alan Wake 2 or Spider-Man, maybe Wonder. I don't know. But then whoever wins that is not going to win Game of the Year because that's how God of War got last year. It was like, oh, game direction. And we're like, yeah. And it was like, oh no, we didn't win Game of the Year. If y'all can't tell, I love me some PlayStation.
It's such a hard decision. I feel like any of them that win, I'm not going to be mad, except for maybe Resident Evil 4, because I think that they all deserve the spot.
Oh, yeah.
But man, it's just this is the kind of year that it's been, and it's just such a crazy year.
Yeah.
How do you pick? I mean, honestly, is the deciding factor which one has the best memes? Because I don't know that should be what picks the game of the year.
Well, it's all popularity, right? You could just go in and vote.
Well, that's 10%.
Yeah.
I think the public gets 10% of the vote. There's a big panel that they have that consists the other 90% of the weight factor of the vote.
I mean, in my opinion, it's kind of sad that they have like that insiders group that votes on it, and the audience only gets like 10%, especially when the wide variety of people that are playing it is the gamers audience.
I feel like it should be more, but yeah.
But at the same time, with like bots and all that kind of stuff, you can skew it super hardcore. Like if you were like, I love Baldur's Gate 3, and you're like, I'm gonna code the mess out of this.
I'm like,
and then,
my dad is one of those people who would be able to do that if he really cared. Like he's like I swear I could go ask him right now and be like, Dad, do you know how to do this? And he'd be like, yeah. He could do that if he wanted to. Like that's all I'm saying. So I completely understand.
That's the thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Did we decide who's winning? Oh yeah. Did we go? Did everybody get to say their piece about that?
It's got to be BG by a landslide. I'd be shocked if it doesn't win.
I'm expecting
if Alan Wake 2's win, I'm playing it that same night. I need to know what it's so
I'm
good.
just saying I think it has a chance. I don't know if it will. I'm just saying I think it has a chance.
If it does, I'm just saying. I'm buying it.
If it wins and you buy it and you play it, I'm gonna watch you because I swear I haven't seen anything about it.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to play the
Which one would you be most shocked about if it won?
The remake.
The remake?
Yeah, the Resident Evil.
I'd be disappointed. I don't know if I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if Spider-Man 2 wins. I'd be like, over Baldur's Gate 3?
I feel like Mario Wonder is like the low man on the totem pole.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. It's like 2D Mario is not the big hit. Like 3D Mario, like an Odyssey, that sort of deal. That's a much bigger game, in my opinion. I'm over here.
Was Odyssey nominated?
I don't remember.
It was the same year as Breath of the Wild, and Breath of the Wild won, and that's why so many people are saying, "Well, Tears of the Kingdom."
I think it was actually.
Zelda wins a lot.
It was nominated because I remember watching that one, and I think I saw that one. Like normally, I'm not tied to the Game of the Year awards. I think this is the biggest year that I've actually been watching it, and it's really only because I've been on the Bono's Gamers podcast. I'm like, oh, okay, guess I got to do my research. And so now I've actually been doing some research on some of the games that are on there.
So let's see. Game of the Year: Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, Persona 5, Players Unknown Battleground, and Super Mario Odyssey.
Oh, so it was. That was a good year in gaming too. Maybe not quite as good as this one's been.
2011 is probably like as close to 2023.
What came out
Old
that
man.
year?
Let's hit you with these.
Yeah, I
Portal
was about
2,
to
Okay.
Batman Arkham City,
Mhm.
Uncharted 3,
Mhm.
Deus Ex Human Revolution, LA Noire, Gears 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, Saints Row the Third, Assassin's Creed Revolution, Battlefield 3, Dead Space 2, Dark Souls, Infamous 2, The Witcher 2, Crisis 2, SWTOR, Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword, there we go, Dragon Age 2, Bulletstorm, Dead Island, Need for Speed The Run,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's an
2011.
impossible
That's
list.
a good
Dude,
year.
those are so many good games, dude.
Yeah.
Like, dude, okay, listen, I was young when all those games came out, okay? And I played probably half of them that you listed. Like, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying, man. Those are good, man.
2011. Oh, good time. Good time.
Yeah. What a lineup.
Well, trying to decide if I want to talk about anything else.
Why we aren't on the creator.
Yeah. Why are we not on? None of us were nominated for Content Creator of the Year.
I
I'm
don't
really
even know
confused.
any of them.
Also, who are these people?
Yeah, I don't even know any of them.
Dude, wait. Okay.
Who is- who is
Update me here, okay?
Iron
Um,
Mouse. People
okay.
make games.
I
Quackity.
swear, if
Spring.
don't
Oh, I know who.
fucking
Wacky
don't
is.
tell me that's a
Cypher
VTuber because
Pack?
I'm gonna throw something.
What? Wait. Who? I'm like,
If
all
it's
I
an
know is
Iron
Wacky.
Mouse.
That's all I know.
If it's a
I-
VTuber,
I don't think Quackity is a VTuber. I might be
Okay,
wrong.
okay.
I don't
I've
Quack.
never heard of any of these people.
I like,
Yeah.
dude. I don't watch Quackity. I just know of him.
Okay, so
Hey.
that's at least a real person. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I appreciate you being on the podcast tonight and discussing all this craziness with me. Falcon, tell us where we can find you, buddy, and what you're working on.
I am on Twitter, formerly known. Oh wait, no, X, formerly known as Twitter. There you go, dude. Let me redo it.
It gets everyone. It gets everyone.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I still call it Twitter. Okay, you guys can call it what you want.
I think
I'm on
everybody calls
Twitter.
it Twitter. Why would we?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I only do it because it bothers people.
Dude, inside of my description, like I noticed this recently. I went to one of my video descriptions. The video description still call it, even though the image is still X. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, anyways. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. And you can also find me here on the platform on YouTube. I'm currently working on editing some Undertale videos for the channel and then doing live streams Monday through Friday. Morning streams are 10 a.m. and evening streams are 3 p.m. PST. And then once Mario, I'm gonna be playing Super Mario RPG, the remake, when it comes out. So that'll be good.
Nice. Zach, Nerd Cave Network. What do you got going on over there? Where can we find you?
You can find me on YouTube, Nerd Cave Network, and the Tiki Talkie Nerd Cave over there. Help me get to 1,000. That would be great, so I can live stream there. But right now, doing Nerd Cave news every Thursday, going over all the industry news each week, and then Tuesdays playing through some Spider-Man right now. So 7 p.m. Central Time. So come hang out. Say hey.
Awesome. Well, it was really nice to have you on here for the first time. Maybe,
Yeah.
hopefully, we can have you back again sometime.
I loved it, every minute of it.
Awesome. Yugi, where can everybody find you? What are you working on, bud?
All right. You can find me absolutely everywhere with Yugi601, either that or an underscore under it. I'm mainly on X running my trap, and you can catch me live right here on YouTube if you're watching it here. I am probably just gonna be, I'm definitely gonna be playing Super Mario RPG. That's almost like a must that I have to do when that comes out Friday. But following that, working on more videos. Probably be taking a little break from streaming, but we ain't quitting the content. We're gonna do some things there, talk about some games.
Awesome. Well, if you're watching this, you already know where to find me, but I just released a video review on this. This is the Ambernick RG353V, a vertical retro handheld. Plays Nintendo DS, Nintendo 64, all the way back to like Atari. Also plays Dreamcast and PSP. So does quite a few things. And the things that I'm working on are, I just got a couple of things in the mail that I'm working on reviews for. One is this, another retro handheld.
Ooh,
That I'm
looks
already this thing is awesome, and this one is giving it a huge run for its money. I'm not sure which one I like more right now, and I also have a new mini PC review that I'm working on too, so I'm pretty excited about those. This has been the Bonos Gamers Podcast, episode 6. Thanks for watching. Stay kind and encouraging out there. Go check out these guys on YouTube, give them some love, and we'll catch you on the flippity flip.